Hello everyone, welcome. Today I have a celebration. It's kind of an anniversary of sorts. I have purchased the same planner 10 times. I think that's kind of an achievement in the planner world, really, because we get so wrapped up in what we see on social media. We look at what our friends are using when we go to have coffee, and we see, ooh, is that a new planner? Maybe I should try it. Ooh, is that a new format? Maybe I should try it. Ooh, did they make that in that kind of paper? Oh, I gotta try it. And I have to admit, I have done that occasionally. I do have 10 of these stacked up, but every once in a while I would take 6 months off and try something new. And so on my bookshelf, you'll see a couple of extras. But I always end up coming back to this Traveler's Company insert. It's like my emotional support planner, honestly. So I want to show you a couple things about it. First of all, I will put links in the description to everything I talk about if you'd like to get something for yourself or a gift for someone else. I will also put timestamps in the first pinned comment because I'm going to show you what it looks like when you first get it. I'll show you what it looks like used. I'll show you what my weekly layout looks like, and then I'll show you how I archive these. I will also put a link in the description to a video where I walk you through step by step my actual setting this up, making it work for the week, the supplies I use, all that. But today we're focusing just on the planner itself. So this is a Midori Traveler's Company 018 insert. It is regular size or standard size. Some systems call it one, some call it the other. But it's the one that's about 8 1/3 inches tall by 4 1/4 inches wide. And you can get these several different places. I always get mine on Amazon, and it's important to note that when you go to the Amazon listing, I have noticed that if you type in the search box, Traveler's Company 018, sometimes it doesn't show up and I don't know why. So I'm going to put a link to the one that I get every time. I've never had a problem with it being fake. I've never had a problem receiving a used one or anything like that. They're always on point, and they're usually available through Prime. So it comes with this little sheet that kind of shows the layout, and it reminds you that this is Midori MD paper in cream. Midori MD has kind of a brighter white, and then this is the cream version. Here, this sticker is white, this is the cream. All right, Midori MD paper is pretty magical. It takes all of my pens and markers, any of my pigment-based, gel pens, brush pens, that kind of thing. But it also takes fountain pens. It takes watercolor really well. The only thing that bleeds through this for me is a big juicy Sharpie, and those bleed through pretty much everything. So I can get away with almost all of my pens, markers, and paints in these. They are going to arrive with square corners. I tend to round mine. I like this Carl corner rounder for that. It likes to have more than one sheet at a time of the actual pages, and the cover you can do just one sheet because it's actually made for cardstock, but these things are indestructible. So, corner rounder. The cover itself it has like a coating on it so that if you were to dribble some water or something, it'll just brush right off. I think that the benefit to this for me is how tiny and versatile it is. It weighs like 2 ounces when you get it before you've loaded it up with stickers and embellishments and things. 2 ounces, super slim, and you can do many different things with it. Obviously, I'm using a traveler's notebook system, and I have several different kinds of traveler's notebooks, and it works just fine in all of them. But you don't have to put it in that kind of a notebook. You could just pop this in your purse. It doesn't have to be, some complete organized planner system that costs $1 bajillion. You can just get the insert. That's it. Or you can carry around a different notebook, and you could pop this in the back. If it's an A5 notebook, it's going to be the same height. And this closes with its elastic, and there you go. You've got your planner and your notebook together. So whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you. But by itself, it's just a slim, trim little set of weekly pages mostly for 28 weeks. And the idea being that you've got 26 weeks for half the year, but then you also have some two extra layouts, which you could use for a lot of different things. You could use them to kind of see what works for you. You could use them for a little bit of scratch paper in the back. You could use them if you truly mess up on one of your weeks, then, move on to the next one and you've got an extra one down there at the end. So yeah, it was nice that they gave us 2 extra weeks. Let's look at the format here. So you open it up, you've got an area to write your dates, and I usually wait until I'm finished. So here was the last one ending just last week, December 2024, those last 2 weeks of December into June. That's the benefit of an undated planner. You can start it whenever you want. Then we have some blank space here. And on this spread, I usually do a legend for the health tracking that I do on the next spread. But yeah, 2 empty pages. Then we have this great tracking area, and there are 2 sets of these. So it's designed to be 6 months. It's already numbered 1 through 31. And I usually go, as I'm setting this one up, it's going to be for the second half of 2025. I'll go July, August, September, October, November, December. And then I'll write like MTW so I get the dates. And I use it as a health tracker. I write down how many hours I slept, and I have a little code for any kind of symptoms that I'm tracking. And then I can write in like my temperature if I need to. It's tiny space, but it's functional space. Then I switch to the next one, and I use the second layout for forward planning. So this is going to be second half 2025. It'll go through December. I'll make this January, February, March, spring 2026, 2027, 2028. And I can mark down things that are coming way in advance. So for example, AAA just renewed. And it reminded me that next year, on July 2nd, they will be charging my credit card, automatically, because I get a discount that way. So I will go in here to that specific area and write, okay, July 2nd, 2026, AAA renews. And then that way, when I'm setting up that planner, I can refer back to this and fill in any of the things I need to. And then the rest of it is just those weekly pages. Okay, let's see what those look like once I've filled them out. And like I said, I do have a video that shows you all the details, all the nitty-gritty details of this. All the pens I use, all the markers I use, all the stickers I use. But today I'm just going to show you kind of a bird's eye view. This is what it looks like after the week is over. So you have the dates already marked for the days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday get their own spaces. Yay! That's a good thing for me. Pet peeve, I don't like planners that split them up. Because Saturday and Sunday are special on their own merit and they deserve their own space. All right, so if you like a Monday start, you're good to go. If you don't want a Monday start, you could do a nice thin line of like a Tombow mono correction tape and then write in your dates. Or you could do like a little thin strip of washi, give it a splash of color, and then write like M, T, W, T, H, or whatever order you want to go in. But I'm happy with the Monday start. I'm good with this. Then I write in with a Zebra Sensations brush pen. I'll do the days, the numbers, so June 30th, July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and so on. Over here in the top right, I will write out the name of the month, the date, and what it goes through. And then that's kind of all I do at the beginning, is get in those dates. Then I'll go back, and one of the things that motivates me to keep using a planner, and it's why I've gotten through 10 of these, is I put some stickers throughout that next 6 months to give me a guideline of what season are we in? what big holiday is coming up. And it keeps me using the planner because I don't want to waste the stickers that I put in it. Does that make sense? It's a simple little thing, but it's kept me going for now going on 5 years. So for example, this was 4th of July week. So these are Paper House Life Organized stickers, all from the same book that I've talked about numerous times. We've got, this one is like that kind of almost like washi. It's like clear, matte finish, but it has some pretty gold accents. Happy 4th of July. And then it had some pretty stars, and those kind of coordinate. And then it also has some nice florals in that set. So I picked a red, white, and blue one. And there you go. You got a little splash. That's it. I am first and foremost a functional planner, but I like a little bit of color here and there. I like a little bit of festivity here and there. So what does it look like after the week's over? I do planning for the week, but I also do a little bit of memory keeping as well. So I usually put up here at the top if anything really big happened with the weather, like severe thunderstorms, 3 inches of rain. It just kept raining on and off all day with these torrential downpours. Well, that's worth mentioning. Or we have tornado warnings. I'll draw a little tornado in real quick. But for the most part, I just draw whether it was cloudy, sunny, raining, etc. And then that next space right here, I usually do the things that have to be done that day. So I'll put a little checkbox next to it and say, gotta go to the post office on the 2nd. Must cancel Hulu by the 3rd. Have to pay the bills on the 30th. That area is gonna go right here. Things that have to be done on that day. And then they get checked off, hopefully. Hopefully. Then the bulk part here, I just kind of ballpark. I just kind of aim for the right area. These are marked 8 a.m. So it goes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. I don't follow them exactly. If it's a morning event, I'll put it towards the top. If it's a midday event, in the middle. And if it's evening, it goes toward the end. But I don't make it go like, okay, 18 is 6 o'clock, so I put the 6 here. I don't get that persnickety about it. It's just like, okay, everything's in the same vicinity. And I will write plans, and I do that with a Uniball Signo gel pen. 0.5 works great in here. And so, for example, Zoom meeting with Kate, 1 o'clock. Community parade, 2 o'clock. Fireworks at the park, 9. Barbecue at the clubhouse. Those kind of things are planned. Then I will go back and write what I actually did. So I'll sit down at the end of the day, take note of what went on, and write it in along with what the weather was like. So took a walk, went to the nature preserve and walked 2 miles. Listened to the Reds game, they won. Went swimming for an hour. Ended up going to music at the marina. There was a blues band, that kind of thing. Got all that in there. Then there's this extra space, right? You've got extra space over here on the right, and you've got extra space down here at the bottom. So I tend to do bullet journaling on the right and micro journaling on the bottom. So bullet journaling, what do I mean by that? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a mini bullet journal that goes from week to week to week. So these are items that should be done that week. They don't have to be, and they don't have to be on a specific date, but they should be done that week. So for example, water plants, library books are due, oil change, make a hair appointment, recycle ink cartridges. And I check them off when I do them. And if I do not do them, then I carry them over to the next week. And I have to tell you, if you have written oil change for the 3rd week in the row, you get annoyed that you have to write it again, so you make an appointment for an oil change. That's the beautiful thing about bullet journaling, is that it kind of annoys you into getting stuff done. And then down here at the bottom, I'll do a little micro journaling. So like over here on the left, maybe something that I really sunk my teeth into that week. So for example, I binge watched The Pit on HBO last week. Oh my goodness, that show is phenomenal. it's also traumatic. So I think I would compare it to The West Wing in an ER starring Noah Wyle. It's a really, really fantastic show. But I could only do maybe 5 or 6 episodes, and then I had to take a break. So I switched over to Northern Exposure again, which is my old favorite, and I will put a link to both of these in the description. They're so completely different, but they're both satisfying. So The Pit, if you want, really, really, really deep drama, and Northern Exposure if you want a little bit of whimsy in your life. And nature, lots of nature. Okay, then, so this little area down here, I did just some victories health-wise. I was proud of myself. I drank tons of water with a lime. It was super, super duper hot. And then also made apricot parfaits. Yum, yum. Instead of brownies. That's a victory. Then sometimes I'll have some empty space over here on the right or in the middle. Maybe I have a day or two where I didn't actually have that much going on and I'll have some empty space. Then I'll usually write in a quote. And in this case, it was J.M. Barrie's, "Always try to be a little kinder than is necessary." So that's what it ends up looking like at the end of the week. For tabs here, to mark the health tracking and to mark that like this is that week, these are Avery Repositionable tabs. And as you see, they go on kind of just like a Post-it note and they move right with you. And I find that these two will last me for that whole 6 months, and then they start looking a little battered. And so when I go to the next 6 months and start a new planner, then I usually get out a new tab. They've got metallic ones. This was a set of more like pastel colors, so lots of choices. All right, so if you want to see, like I said, nitty-gritty details of putting that all together, I will put it in the description. There's a link to another video. So archiving. There are a lot of ways you can do this. You can get a shoebox and you can just line them up. But I like to treat them as a book that's easy to flip through. So I have put mine in a traveler's notebook, and this one is from Amazon. It's a company called Newestor or September Leather. Sometimes it's listed a different way. These are cool because they have a reinforced spine so they don't buckle. And they have pockets if you wanted to turn it into a wallet. They have a pen loop. They have a folio pocket in the back and in the front. But what's really cool about them is just how many inserts they hold. So I sometimes use this one as my traveler's notebook. Actually, I have a couple of these because I got them for samples to make videos about. So this is an extra one. But yeah, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. And if I didn't care about them sticking out the end, I could probably get like 9 or 10 in here. It's crazy. So there are 4 bands that come with it, and then I used 4 extra bands to get a total of 8 inserts. And that way I can keep this on my bookshelf, and then I can just flip through 5 years. Look at that. 5 years of traveler's notebook. Inserts, 5 years of memories, 5 years of victories, 5 years of defeats, all together, just like that. So I highly recommend maybe looking for some of the cheaper, maybe not even leather, traveler's notebooks on Amazon, and you can use them for archives. And then here's a pro tip. If you are looking at those cheaper traveler's notebooks to use as archives, I would definitely make sure that you read the description and the reviews and make sure they're not the small ones. For some reason, several different brands that make these like PU leather TNs, they only go up to like 7 1/4 or 7 1/2 or 7 3/4 inches. They don't go the full like 8 1/3, 8 1/2. And so if you want your inserts to fit in them, you need to make sure you get a true standard size or regular size. So take note as you're placing your orders. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please click like and subscribe and all that good stuff. You can also join me on Patreon. It's going right now. If you're watching this video 10 years from now, I might not be doing Patreon anymore, but I am really into it right now. And you will find lots of inserts that you can put in your planners. So for example, this year I made a 2025 planner insert, which will fit very nicely. I made one that has commonly misspelled words. I made one that had journal prompts. I made some that are just pretty. So if you join me on Patreon, you'll get access to all of those instant downloads. Thank you so much for being here.